A little hot coffee on a cool evening there. Going to do some movie reviews for you tonight, or actually one movie review. Got a DVD in the mail, a screening copy from the folks over at Echo Bridge Entertainment, home entertainment that is. A sci-fi thriller action movie in the vein of Total Recall and that type of post-apocalyptic storyline. It's sort of like a futuristic Stallone lockup storyline in prison, jailbreak movie in the world of Total Recall, if that makes any sense whatsoever. It is, of course, the Stuart Gordon favorite of mine, Fortress, starring Mr. Highlander himself, Christopher Lambert. One thing right off the bat, I want to say, as far as the look of the disc and everything, I want to start the review a little bit different today. Usually I just jump right into the story and then tell you about the disc. I'm going to do the reverse today. I want to talk about the presentation of the Miramax release here from Echo Bridge. Now, we all know by now that Echo Bridge is doing basically budget-priced, bare-bone releases of a lot of the catalog titles from Miramax, yesteryear's catalog, basically. Fortress, right away, I gotta say, it has the exact same cover art that the VHS, the one-sheet poster, and the old Artisan DVD that was out for a while. The Artisan DVD was basically, I think, like a Laserdisc full-screen port, so we've never had an anamorphic widescreen version of this film, to my knowledge, until this point in time. One thing I've got to say right away, kudos to Echo Bridge for one thing. They didn't do an eco case. You've got a good sturdy case. Then it comes in, you've got disc art, which is a plus for a nerd like me. Also, they stayed true to the cover art. They didn't change anything. Why change a good thing? It's just basically, it's the I can't speak this evening. Post-apocalyptic future, Christopher Lambert's face fading away into oblivion. That's the way this should look. I hate it whenever studios don't, or even re-release studios, take and mess with cover art and it looks like the most thrown together photoshopped piece of crap. I hate it when people do that. I'm sorry, there's a little side rant there, but getting back to Fortress, they stayed true to the cover art. They did change the back cover art a little bit from the Artisan DVD, but it does look great. It's got a couple quotes there that they always love to throw in there, a little story synopsis. Sadly, guys, I'm going to say right off the bat, this is totally bare bones. It is anamorphic widescreen. The picture quality on this is not too bad, guys. I can honestly say that. It looks pretty good. The sound quality, not so great. I'm just going to be, just tell you right off the bat. Sound quality is just very, very basic on this one. I was kind of hoping for a little bit cleaned up around the edges, more of a surround sound mix, that kind of thing. But you're getting the basic meat and potatoes on the sound on this one. So that's where it does fall a little bit short. And also, another little tidbit, to my knowledge, this one isn't on their Blu-ray line yet. So I was kind of hoping for this one on Blu-ray myself, mainly because this is a sci-fi action futuristic movie. If it's comedy or drama, I can be good with a DVD. That's just me talking. But since I'm reviewing it, I got to be honest and give you my opinion that I was hoping for a Blu-ray of this one, even a cheapo Blu-ray, just a basic release or something of that nature, mainly because this is a movie, even though it's low budget, it made some bank back in its day. I mean, it did. It was a basic hit, for Stuart Gordon and those involved, the creative team involved. Basically, it would lend itself to a good high-definition transfer, or at least a decent transfer from a decent source, in my opinion. So, I remain hopeful that at least they'll release some kind of budget Blu-ray this one day that's done halfway decent in terms of sound and picture. That's what I remain hopeful for. Now, more on to the story. And like I said, I'm flip-flopping this one around a little bit this evening. I'm going to go over the storyline a little bit. Basically, it follows Christopher Lambert and his wife. They're both military personnel in the future, and you catch up with them in the storyline where they're basically trying to jump country lines. They're basically trying to get out of the country. You don't really know why at first, but then it comes to be explained around the first act that I think having more than one child per family or something of that nature is outlawed in the future. And basically you can't have more children unless you get certain clearance, and if not, you're doing it illegally. She's pregnant. So basically they get found out. Christopher Lambert goes to jail, and so does she, but unbeknownst to her, they don't know that each other is alive, I believe, is the storyline, how it starts out. Kurtwood Smith, I believe his name is, the actor who was the uber violent and vulgar guy in RoboCop, the Clarence Boddicker role in RoboCop, shows up as the warden in this movie. He's kind of like the main nemesis in the movie, but he's kind of a tragic nemesis in a way, because he's kind of this created person who's lived his whole life inside the prison, and that's his only goal in life, is to maintain this futuristic prison that they send this guy to, and his wife. Basically, just to kind of, I don't want to give too much away, but some regulars from Stuart Gordon films. If you don't remember who Stuart Gordon is, he's the guy who directed Reanimator and a lot of other good films from the 80s. From Beyond, I believe, was another one that he directed. Basically, Jeffrey Combs shows up in this one, the Reanimator himself. He shows up in this one as a kind of a comic relief prisoner in the cell with Christopher Lambert. And basically, the whole second act basically is about them trying to stay alive in the prison. Vernon Wells, who I got an autograph from Scarefest, you know him from Mad Max, big Mohawk guy from Mad Max, and Arnold Schwarzenegger's main nemesis in Commando. He shows up as a baddie in this one in the prison. He's not a main character or anything, but you will know him right away who he is. Basically, it's about them trying to stay alive in prison pretty much through the second act. The third act is about them breaking out, trying to get out of the prison and do a jailbreak, basically. There's these cool things in there called the intestinators, and this is what reminds you of some of these other movies like The Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger, where they had the collars around their neck to keep the prisoners from escaping. And they had this thing called the intestinator, which is like a basic explosive charge that they shove down your throat whenever you're checked into this prison. Basically, if you walk outside certain lines in the prison, the main computer system can intestinate you, basically detonate this thing inside you and blow your stomach apart and kill you. So you can imagine, if it's directed by Stuart Gordon, there's no, even though it's not a full-on horror movie, it's not going to be short of any gore in the movie. There's tons of gore in this movie for you gore hounds out there, so you'll enjoy that. There's some effects in the movie and makeup effects that are kind of hokey, that don't really hold up nowadays, but there are a lot of visual effects in the movies in this movie that still does hold up, I feel. And I really enjoyed revisiting this movie again. And I gotta be honest, I'm glad to have it in the collection too. So I say, guys, this one I did a little bit of research on. You know, as I've said before on many occasions, Echo Bridge loves their multi-packs. You can buy Fortress in its single version that they sent out for review today, and you can also get it in, I think, a double feature and maybe even a quadruple feature bunched in with other films of the like. So look for it in a package that's suitable for your needs. What I have learned with a lot of Echo Bridge's multi-packs, the more you buy, the bigger the number, the better deal you're going to get. Now, you probably won't get cover art on the disc itself because it'll be a double flipper disc or something like that, but I don't think there's any loss of quality or anything like that, you know, just kind of going from that standpoint. But you're going to get your best deal if you try to get it in a multi-pack. If you want some other movies that they're offering, probably try to pick it up that way. Or if you're just a Fortress Stuart Gordon fanatic and you got to have an anamorphic transfer of it, pick up the single version. I believe these run about $5 on your bargain bins at Kmart, Walmart, places like that. I can honestly say it's one of my little favorites. A little tidbit or a little trivia history here. Yes, I did work at a movie theater in high school, and I can say it's one of the highlights of my youth. And I got to say, we had this movie in about 92, 93 when this came out. This movie stayed up there forever. I mean, we had it for, I know, at least 2 months, and that's kind of unheard of nowadays, especially a sci-fi or an action movie. If it doesn't do good in the first week, it's canned in about 2-3 weeks. This movie stayed out about 2 good months for a low-budget independent film that was picked up by Dimension back in the day and put out in a wide release. This movie, I think, made its budget back ×3, if I'm not mistaken. So it really did. It did pretty well for what it was. And I got to understand, it is, like I said, it's a little hokey in some spots, but the acting is sound, and it's just a good, fun movie. Good little action, gory action romp from Stuart Gordon, and I can highly recommend it. If anything, for the story. If you're not really impressed with the picture and sound quality of this movie, I say pick this up in the best manner possible. Even if you're a VHS fanatic, there's plenty of VHS copies around of this. And just watch it for story. At least give it a rental off Netflix, see if you like it, see if it's your cup of tea. And I think you'll be, if you haven't seen it before, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Then again, you may not. Leave your comments below. This has been your review DVD screener from Echo Bridge Entertainment. Check it out at your local bargain bins or go to their website. They've got tons of versions of or different packagings of these on there. So Fortress, to my knowledge, not out on Blu-ray yet. That's my only main gripe beyond the sound. Take care, dudes, and I will see you next time. Rock on.